Do you
You're asking me the same question.
support
Okay, let's just say,
abortion?
let's take a historical example. Let's take genocide, like in the proper context, you had the Holocaust, right? Let's say someone wanted to go bomb the gas chambers that killed lots of people, right? Would they be justified in doing so?
It's hard. No, I mean,
No, they wouldn't?
If the law says that
So
you
the
can't-
law said it would be illegal for them to bomb that gas chamber, but it was legal for the Nazis to carry out whatever they were doing
What does
under
that
their
have-
own
How does
laws.
this relate to abortion, though?
Because you called it genocide, right? Wasn't
It
that
is.
also a genocide?
But I don't understand how that relates to.
Because you called
Women killing
abortion,
children.
because you called abortion a genocide in our country.
Right.
That's also a genocide where they were justified
And
by
so
their
you're
own
asking
government
me-
legally.
If someone wanted to go and do what?
So let's say vigilantes, people in the greater society, or even the people who were being genocided themselves, decided to bomb the gas chambers in order to save lives, right? To prevent more people from being killed. Would they be justified in doing that, even though the government says it's illegal to
Or
bomb
if they
the
wanted
gas
to blow
chambers?
up the gas
Yeah,
chambers?
yeah.
Absolutely.
But not in the case of abortion for some reason, for the abortion clinics.
No.
Why?
Because that's not what the law says.
But the law,
And a woman-
that's not what the law said in
Listen,
Nazi Germany either.
what I have with me one of the most popular YouTuber around, a guy by the name of Nuance Bro. Nuance Bro. That's your name, right?
Yes, it is.
And so I know that the shades is like your trademark, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, you can take your trademark off now.
I was told the shades bother you or something.
Yeah, I
like
like
that.
to see your eyes.
That's fair, that's fair.
Because you can tell when somebody, what they're thinking, if they're honest, they're nervous, mad, happy, sad, or beta.
I agree. I
Right.
agree.
Well, thank you for coming, man.
Thanks for
How
having
did
me.
you come up with the name Nuance Bro?
So basically, my first video, I actually was going between the name Nuance News and Nuance Bro, and then I guess I made a mistake where I wrote Nuance Bro in like the title, but my channel name was Nuance News, and then I eventually decided, well, if that's the title I wrote in the video, I'm gonna go with that. But also, it's I just felt like there wasn't a lot of nuance in a lot of the political commentary on YouTube. A lot of people just play sort of, partisan hackery is what I saw it as, so I just wanted to bring a little bit of that to YouTube.
And so what does nuance mean exactly?
Things aren't always black and white, there's shades of meaning, so that's basically what it means.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Amazing. I noticed that most millennial males, they're like, half of them are very smart, and the other half, everything is missing.
Okay.
They all seem to be betas.
Okay.
You agree?
Sure. I don't know if it's like either or. Let's say there's some nuance to it, but
Oh, I see. And so, are you a beta, an alpha male?
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm finding out right now. I'll tell
What
you
sense
before-
do you get?
You're nice.
Okay, nice, but is that alpha or is that beta?
Well, because you would not take the picture with Vincent James, because you're concerned about what others think.
Sure.
The last thing I care about, the last thing is what others think.
Sure.
And so, but an alpha male would not be concerned about what someone else thought about him. He would want to live upright, he would be honest, and
Yeah.
do the right thing, but what others think wouldn't bother him at all. Am I right?
No, I don't think so completely. I think generally they would be less concerned about what other people think or how what other people think could potentially affect them in their life.
What's your opinion of this whole idea about men dressing like women and thinking that they are a woman, or women dressing like men and thinking that they are men? Do you think that they got a mental problem, or what's wrong with them?
I mean, so if we're talking specifically about trans people, there's also the idea of gender dysphoria. They're not necessarily the same exact thing all the time.
What's the difference?
So trans people are people who, let's say they were born biologically male, but they identify as female, right? But for gender dysphoria, it's the same thing, but they have this idea that they actually are not comfortable in the body that they are currently in, so you would call that gender dysphoria, whereas if you don't have gender dysphoria but you're trans, you don't have that same it's not causing you harm or it's not causing you mental distress to be in the body that you're currently in.
Why wouldn't they be comfortable with the body that they have, that they are in?
People with gender dysphoria?
Yeah.
So I guess the idea would be that their outside doesn't match how they feel on the inside.
And how they feeling on the inside?
So if they are born biologically male but they identify as female, they feel female on the inside.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how did they get that way?
I mean, we don't fully know.
So, are you conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican? Where are you on that?
I don't even bother putting these labels on myself anymore, because people, if I say I'm one thing, they're like, no, you're not. You're actually the other thing. So I just.
But what do you say?
Well, I just like to go issue by issue. If people want to ask me about those, then I can answer those questions, and then they can judge for themselves.
Okay. Do you support abortion?
Define support abortion.
You think a woman has a right to kill the child in her womb?
So if you're talking about what I think the laws should be, you have access up to the first trimester, and then after that, there's limited exceptions. But generally, it's illegal after about the first
How about
trimester.
you? Do you support abortion? I'm trying to.
No, that's
find
what I
out.
just said.
You're making me try to, take a guess
So,
again.
so we're not talking about laws
I'm
and what
talking about
policy I
you.
support.
Do you support abortion?
So we're not talking about policy?
No, we're talking about you.
Okay, so personally, I think it's it's something I would prefer if people didn't do. That's my personal.
So do you support abortion?
Policy-wise, I believe it should be legal in the first trimester.
Do you personally support abortion?
I just answered you.
No, I didn't ask you about policy.
Okay, so if we're ignoring policy, I already just said I don't support. I don't like it, so it's not something I support.
Is that a yes or no? Do you support abortion?
You always do this yes or no thing. I saw you do this with Hassan Piker. I think you do it in a very dishonest way.
What do you mean?
Because I answered the question, but you want this simple yes or no, but that could mean a lot of things. Like if you can't break it down and be a little more, I mean, we're talking about Nuance Bro,
Want me to
right?
break it down?
Nuance, there's no black and white. There is no yes or no. Sometimes you have to, see the shades of meaning in
gray.
things.
It's always yes or no.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How so?
Because there's no gray.
Well,
But-
let me ask you.
I'll restate the question.
Okay.
I'll be a little more
But then I'm going to
clear.
ask you a question right after this.
Okay, I'll be a little more clear about it.
Sure.
Do you
You're asking me the same question.
support
Okay, let's just say
abortion?
Let's say
Do you
let's say I
personally
don't
support
support abortion, even though I
No,
talked
that's
about
not
the
saying you
policy
don't. I'm
aspect.
trying to figure
But
out
I
if
want to
you're
ask you a
conservative.
question because
No, you didn't answer my question yet.
I just said no.
You
I
don't
said,
support
no,
abortion?
I want to make it easy for you. But let me ask you a question. So you say you support, you're against abortion, obviously,
Yes.
right? Okay. So you view it as murder. This is actually similar to a question I asked Ben Shapiro recently. So you think abortion is murder?
Absolutely.
Do you feel that because I think we have like 600,000 plus abortions a year in this country, do you think that would constitute a genocide?
Yes.
Okay. Do you support using lethal force against abortion doctors and abortion clinics? Do you support bombing abortion clinics?
No.
Why not?
Because it's against the law to do that.
So what?
But abortion, so-called doctors should be punished for what they do.
Just because something is legal doesn't make it moral?
No, it's not even right to go and blow up the man just because you disagree with them.
It's not about disagree. Let's say someone comes to your house and tries to kill you or your children. Would you use lethal force to protect
No,
yourself?
absolutely.
Exactly. So you're not killing
But I'm
someone
going
because you
to the
disagree with
abortion
them.
House. He's not coming to my house, so that's the difference.
Okay, so let's say right now, today, let's take a historical example. Let's take genocide, like in the proper context, you had the Holocaust, right? Let's say someone wanted to go bomb the gas chambers that killed lots of people, right? Would they be justified in doing so?
No, I mean,
No,
you know
they
what the
wouldn't?
law- if the law says that
So
you
the
can't-
law said it would be illegal for them to bomb that gas chamber, but it was legal for the Nazis to carry out whatever they were
What
doing
does
under
that
their
have-
own
How does
laws.
this relate to abortion now?
Because you called it genocide, right? Wasn't
It
that
is.
also a genocide?
But I don't understand how that relates to.
Because you called
Women killing children.
because you called abortion a genocide in our country.
Right.
That's also a genocide where they were justified
And
by
so
their
you're
own
asking
government
me-
legally.
And someone wanted to go and do what?
So let's say vigilantes, people in the greater society, or even the people who were being genocided themselves, decided to bomb the gas chambers in order to save lives, right? To prevent more people from being killed. Would they be justified in doing that, even though the government says it's illegal to
Or if
bomb
they
the
wanted
gas
to blow
chambers?
up the gas
Yeah,
chambers?
yeah.
Absolutely.
But not in the case of abortion for some reason, for the abortion clinics.
No.
Why?
Because that's not what the law says.
But the law,
And a
that's
woman-
not what the law said in
Listen,
Nazi Germany either.
What you're missing though, with women killing the babies inside their womb, they have a choice not to do that. According to the genocide
what do you mean?
thing-
Don't the leaders of the
Hold on a
Nazi
minute,
Reich have a
hold on,
choice not to
hold
kill
on.
millions of people?
According to the genocide thing, the people who was brought up in that position were forced to be murdered and killed, whatever, right? But women decide to kill children in the womb.
Isn't the
So
baby
I
being
gotta move
forced to
on.
be
I gotta
killed?
move on.
Okay,
All
that's
right?
fine. Sure.
So you don't support abortion?
On a personal level, no, but on a legal level, yes. Sure.
So you both ways?
It's not about being both ways. You can have personal positions on it. For example, I don't smoke marijuana, but I support it being legalized.
And why?
Why what?
Why don't you smoke it?
I just don't.
Why?
I just never did.
But do you think it's good, it's healthy, or good to smoke
I think it can
marijuana?
help some people medicinally, but for the most part, I think, for example, children under 25 or people under 25, it can harm some things developmentally, so it's not always healthy in all
Let me know when I
circumstances.
get to the point where you can say, I'm conservative or I'm a Democrat, all right, or a liberal.
What do you mean?
So I asked you, were you conservative?
Well, I said I can
or
talk issue by
liberal?
issue if you
said
want.
Issue by
Yeah.
issue, right?
So if you want to ask about another
do you
issue.
support so-called same-sex marriage?
So on a personal level, like obviously I don't want to get same-sex married, so I wouldn't support it in that instance, but legally I'm fine with it, yeah.
Do you personally support same-sex marriage?
Well, no, because I don't want to do it myself,
Why not?
because I'm not gay.
Is there anything wrong with being gay?
Is there anything wrong with being? I don't think so. No.
What do you say?
I don't think so. No.
You know, is there anything wrong with being a homosexual or a lesbian?
Lesbian. No, I don't. I mean, I don't think so.
So you don't think anything is wrong with it?
No, I mean, they obviously can't have children, but I don't know if that makes it morally wrong.
So you don't think there's anything wrong with being a lesbian or a homosexual?
I mean, not that I can think of at the moment. No.
Are you serious?
I mean, what do you
gonna watch this video, man?
Yeah, I know.
I must warn you.
I know.
So it doesn't seem abnormal to you at all?
I think it's abnormal statistically, but I don't. It's not something that shocks me because it's what I've been around my whole life.
So you think it is abnormal, but you're not shocked by it because you grew up around it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you a Christian?
No.
What are you?
I guess you could say atheist.
You're an atheist. What does that mean?
Lack of a belief in lack of a belief in God.
So you don't believe there is a God, or you just don't believe in a God?
It's not that I just don't believe in a God.
Are your
I
parents,
wouldn't make a definitive statement saying there's absolutely no God.
are your parents Christians?
No.
Are they atheists as well?
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
I converted them in a
You
way.
did?
Yeah.
To become atheists?
Yeah.
And what were they before you converted them?
Muslim for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you converted them.
Okay.
You're doing one thing right.
All right.
So
I'd
what's
say
your
they have.
impression of Turning Point USA?
I think I think they're an organization that's backed by a lot of big moneyed interests, corporate interests, and I don't think their voice is super sincere. And I think I don't know what it is with Charlie Kirk, but he seems to want to pick the worst voices to represent his movement. People who aren't super educated, people who aren't they're not smart or good debaters, and he picks those people to represent his organization. And
People like who?
people like Candice Owens, who I'm not a fan of, people like, just all these sort of like Twitter personalities who you see who are affiliated with Turning Point USA, and I just don't think, Rob Smith, for example, I don't think he's the brightest, but I think he sees it's like tokenism in a way. He's like, oh, this person's gay and black. Well, that's going to be like, hey, liberals, got you there, like, oh, we got a gay black guy and we're conservative. Like, what are you going to do? So.
And what's wrong with, what do you disagree about Candice Owens?
I don't know if she's a super good faith actor. I think she's a bit of what you might call a grifter. And I've seen her just make terrible arguments. Like I did a video about her when she went on the Joe Rogan Experience and she was talking about climate change, and her arguments were just terrible, and she just didn't make any sense.
So do you believe she knows what she's talking about, or she's just guessing, or just trying to have some type of conversation
I
going?
think a lot of what she does is theatrics, so this idea that if you talk really fast, you sound smarter than you actually are, and I think she engages in a lot of that. She can definitely talk really fast. She would be great in like a rap battle or something like that, but I don't think she's particularly intelligent.
Wow, amazing.
And she has me blocked on Twitter, so.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
Why?
a lot of people have me blocked on Twitter, a lot of these folks.
Why?
They don't like me, or they think I criticize them too much, or
Oh,
something
they don't want
like
to hear
that.
the truth.
Yeah.
At least what you believe the truth. They can't handle that.
I don't think so. I mean, I think they're afraid to defend a lot of their positions. They're not afraid to do it with a lot of uninformed college students, especially like if they perceive them as the opposition, because that actually works in their favor. Right. If they view them as a leftist, it's like, oh, look, we can create highlight reels of us disagreeing with leftists who aren't really informed on the issues, and then it makes us look good, and then we get more donors. But I don't think he wants to come on programs where his ideas are really going to be challenged and potentially hurt his organization.
So is he a beta or an alpha?
I'd probably put him more in the beta category.
I've noticed that not all, but most black people feel the same way about the whites. They're always blaming the whites for their downfall, their failure in life. What would you say to the blacks who are always complaining and calling white people racist and want affirmative action, reparation, they want free stuff? What would you say to those blacks that they should do?
Sure. I don't know if it's most. I think there's certainly a significant portion because I've heard. Well,
Yeah.
I'd have to see statistical data to show that.
But what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I would say that there is actual racism in the world, and it still affects us.
Where is it?
Where is it? Well, we still see it affect us today. You don't think racism?
How do you see it affecting you today?
So, for example, there have been studies on how slavery still affects even voting patterns, county by county today.
And you believe that?
Yeah, because it's statistical analysis.
But suppose those statistical analogies are made up.
But it's not made up.
To deceive you.
It's not made up.
How do you know?
Because you can look at the data yourself.
So you think?
Do you want me to talk about the specific study I'm referring to?
No.
Okay.
It's all phony.
Okay, that's
fine.
fine.
Time.
Sure.
But do you think?
Look into deep roots is what I would say.
So you're saying that most black people are racist toward whites?
No, I don't know about. I'd have to see statistical data to back that up.
Are you saying that this study that you're talking about, it proves that there are some black people racist toward whites?
No, the study had nothing to do. The study had to do with how whites in the South vote in certain counties based on the proportion of slaves that were present in 1860, and how that still affects us today, like on how they vote today.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
I got some pot for you.
Well, it's showed statistically in the study, so you can
believe that.
You
You
can look at the.
Queens are real.
Well, you haven't even read the study, so
I
how
don't
could you
need
say
to read it. I have common sense. I can think for myself.
Okay, I mean, I like
That's
science.
so made up. It's not even true.
I like science.
Oh, no wonder you're suffering.
Okay.
Do you love the Great White Hope?
Do I love Trump? No.
You don't love Trump?
Isn't love an act of caring?
You don't love Trump?
Don't you have to care for someone to love them?
Do you love Trump?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you to define love, because don't you have to care for someone to love them?
Do you love
and you
Trump?
said caring is like a beta male thing to do.
Do you love Trump?
Do you love Trump?
So
do you care for Trump?
No, I love him.
You don't care about him?
No.
So you're willing to say, I don't care about Trump?
Right. I don't care about anybody.
Okay.
But I love all people.
I feel like love is care.
No.
Okay.
There's no care in love. That's mama's love.
I think if you care about, if you love someone, you care people. Do I love white people? It's a weird question, because it's like you're asking me about a group of people. There are people I love who are white.
Do you love white people?
Oh, you're gonna do this again. Sure, I love all people. Sure.
How about white people?
I love white people.
Do you love white people?
I just said I did.
What?
I just said I did.
You said what?
I love white people.
Do you love blacks?
I love black people.
You love the Jews?
I love the Jews.
Amazing.